Hello there, it's me, Sorry here again, and today I'm back with this. You know, the 15,000 subbies on YouTube. This time I'm concentrating on my favorite things that actually is going to give one of you lucky followers a gift card, a $25 gift card. So you can choose freely in their web shop. But don't go there yet. Let me show you what I've got here. If you remember, I actually showed you these things that I got in my goodie bag or my happy mail just the other day. I got myself some stamps. This one is called Seaside Seagulls, and they are rather funky, these seagulls, and they've got some nice texts to them as well. Then I got the bunnies. These are called beach bunnies. A lot of wonderful texts and cute little bunnies. And some small houses, ice cream, clouds and everything. And then there are some funky flowers. They're called doodle blooms. And that's what they look like. I also got myself matching dies to go with these 3 sets. So it's the same names for all these. Doodle blooms, seaside seagulls and beach bunnies. And I did start by die cutting the shapes out of paper, and just to keep things simple I actually decided on keeping the dies intact, not separating them from each other, because I was thinking that's going to be easier for me to just know where they are. And I'm going to keep this system until I'm going to shift them to a magnetic board or something. And in order to not get the dies popping out of the sides, I just reinforce them with some washi tape on the sides. So I'm feeling rather secure right now. So I started out die cutting the shapes, and then I tried stamping, making sure that they actually ended up there. I even tried the Misty, but somehow I'm not always friends with the Misty. I mean, the Misty is a wonderful tool, don't get me wrong, but my eyes sort of tend to go a little bit wonky. Sometimes I don't get things properly right. As you can see, I've got too much on the left side here. So sometimes I like out better when I'm just taking an acrylic block with a stamp on, and I'm sort of looking at this like this, but I'm going to gaze from it from underneath. So I'm just making sure that it's going to get there as nicely as possible. So I actually did manage to get these rather well. I then coloured these in with some Copic markers, and just to keep things popped and fun, I just left them here. So I do have some wonderful leftover pieces to work with after this video, that is. So I do have these stamps. I also got some 2 extra sets. This is a wonderful one. Rectangular word window frame, this one is called. And you get 3 of these. And the good thing, of course, is that you are getting the frames as well as the inner pieces. So that means that you can combine them. You could actually do some white stamping or embossed stamping on the black, have a white frame to it and glue it down. If you want to reinforce it, I'm sure you could just cut a piece of paper to this side and make it a little bit sturdier, so you could actually make it work as a sort of a sticker or so. And then there's another one which I actually haven't had the time to use yet. Ocean waves, and I'm thinking that could be really nice to use with the beach bunnies die and stamp sets. So that's where I am right now. So let me just show you what I have made since yesterday. And well, you see, I mean, I do like these. So I started out using, well, I started out with these, of course. I stamped and die cut and everything. I had lots of fun, but my first sort of project was this. And I decided that I would do some wild masking and stamping and then colouring quickly. And in this case I just used some watercolour pens from Spectrum Noir, just to see where I would end up with this. And in this case, I mean, I could actually use it as a banner for something, or I could just have it in the front of a book or something. Perhaps I'm going to make a book of flowers that I've taken pictures of or something. So this is basically it. I mean, I like these stamps. They are rather fun to work with. And just to finish things off, I've actually added on some stickers, glitter, diamond on some parts of these flowers. So it's good to keep the masks because you can actually spray some remount spray on them and reuse them. And it's a nice selection of flowers. I mean, I think this is my favorite, but I haven't really used it yet. But I do like these flowers, I must say. So that is something you could choose for your $25 gift card if you would feel inclined to do so. If you are into the seagulls, well, perhaps that could be something that you fancy. And in this case, I did the same thing. I also put some masks on these. So I just stamped the 3 motifs on white paper first. This one is standing on a block or something, and I just managed to fit that one in there and that one there. So I just sort of created a scene, and I started thinking, I would like to make a sort of a Polaroid looking card. So I just cut a piece of rectangular piece of paper with a stitch to it and sort of made it look like a Polaroid. I put the masks on, and then I added on some ink to stencils with a brush or two. I used 2 colors and I just brushed the inks on. And I also die cut, or actually stamped the clouds, but I cut them by hand. And I used a black pen to just increase the marking so that it wouldn't be that white when you're looking at it from the side. So that was actually my first time doing so. And in this case I used the statement "wishing you happiness," and I just stamped it first, die cut it later, and the leftover, or just the frame, I actually brushed with some blue so it would sort of go together there. I haven't put anything in the center there yet because I'm not sure what to do with this yet, but that could be something you fancy. Moving back to the flowers. This is something I made, and I actually did some embossed stamping on black. I wanted to go that way. This one has gone askew. It was supposed to be straight now, wasn't it? So since this is a glitter paper, I'm hoping I'll be able to correct this later on. It should be straight like so. And in this case I have used this Polaroid frame die to cut the shape out of this. And I stamped on black, and I have used a dry embossed piece of paper that I also have decorated with some stickles on those dots, just to give it some more pop. And the Polaroid frame there is die cut out of a glittery paper. So this is something you could work with as well. And here we come to the bunnies. I made an easel card, easy peasy really. This is a sort of could be an octagon scallop from Spellbinders or something. And I die cut these round shapes out of cork, and I actually mounted the bottom piece onto a card paper so it would be more sturdy and durable. And I die cut the bunny sort of well with a die. Also the clouds I die cut after having stamped them. And then I stamped the hello, and I cut it by hand. And I just created a stop with the leftover piece of cork, and I've also mounted that one onto paper so it will be a little bit sturdier. And in this case I'm just having this cute little card like so. So head on to My Favorite Things webshop and just see how much wonderful things they've got. I mean, they've got both stamps and coordinating dies, but they also have dies that don't match with any sort of stamp set. And I'm thinking that that could be rather fun to use the numbers and alphabets and everything. So that's it from me, and I do want to thank My Favorite Things for participating in the celebration. And before you go, you have until the 22nd of May to leave your comment. 8 o'clock in the evening, Central European Time. That's the deadline. I wish you all the best, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed. However you are supposed to do that, I'm just doing it in all possible ways really. Just hope that you who are watching right now is going to be the winner. Bye bye.